Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight we have Link Wray, and this is going to be coming from 1975. It's a performance of Midnight Lover from the old Grey Whistle Test, which is an old show that we used to have in Britain that is just plug in and play and totally live and totally cool. So let's get Link up on screen and see how he gets on. I'm just going to jump in here because there is so much going on in this video. Even though it sounds really cool, really relaxed, there's such a great groove in this track. The fact that just listen out to the bass. Sometimes it's easy to listen to lead guitarist and rhythm playing, but listen out to the bass that's just gelling that all together. It's super cool, even straight from the intro. This is John Greaves that we've got on bass here. And straight away from the beginning of the video, just a really cool little run into the track. And the fact that the bass and the drums are absolutely on it in this performance, so solid. The other thing is Charlie Charles, I think, is on drums here. So he's absolutely laying down such an awesome groove. But just to talk about Link just for a second, the fact that he relies a lot on that whammy bar, which we can see he doesn't actually play a vibrato note on the fret throughout this whole performance. It's all going to be whammy bar. You can hear in this intro and for the rest of the track that the B string's slightly flat, and that's something that you'll tend to get with whammy bar without having that lock on the bottom of the guitar, where the nut is. On more recent guitars, obviously since the 80s, you could actually lock your guitar in tune, whereas that was for use with the Floyd Rose, where you do dive bombs and you really do test the tension of the strings. But he also gives it a really consistent wide vibrato, and this is a great video just to point out the fact that if you do play guitar, so many people get hung up on trying to play like somebody else or getting stuck in a particular style. And Link Wray is one of those guys who just plays the guitar, and he plays it with what he's got. He's not trying to do anything that is insanely technical. He's just playing for the song and playing with melody. The great thing about the old Grey Whistle Test is the fact that they show little facts up on screen, information on the band or artist that's playing. And we could see there that it mentioned Link Wray had lost a lung whilst he was in the forces with the army. And just compute that for a second, that he's singing with one lung. I know that everyone loves to criticize singers, and Link's one of those guys that try singing with one lung and then you can start to have a go at any vocal that he's doing. This is just a really cool, relaxed vocal. Link Wrey's voice is so unique, the fact that it really suits his music in the same way that when Jimi Hendrix sang, I know that Jimi Hendrix used to slag his own voice off saying that he wasn't a very good singer, but it suited his sound. Because they're great at communicating through music and sending a message, when they use their voice, it is the same voice that's coming out of their voice box, out of their mouth, that is coming out of the guitar as well. So they've got the same voice both times. Let's get back into a little bit more of this performance.
Baby, I've been saving for you. When you see me, baby, you know what to do. When you see me, baby, you will understand. Midnight lover, I'm your midnight man. I'm your midnight lover. I'm your midnight man. I'm your midnight lover. I'm your midnight man. Is you loving me, baby? I'm loving midnight man.
I mean, he's such a cool guy as well. He's gone for an Elvis look on this performance. But again, listen out for this whole band. It is so tight and it's so cool. That groove that is just absolutely hammered in there. Everyone is absolutely hammered in and really dialed into the groove of this track. And another thing to mention is the fact that he really brought in power chords, which is when you just play the lower two strings of a bar chord, you play your root note and a fifth. And that's called a power chord. It's only two strings, but once you add overdrive to it, it really thickens out the sound. If you don't know what a root note is or fifth, I'm going to quickly try and explain it. The root note is the lowest note of the chord, so that'll always be the deepest note that you can hear. On the guitar, it'll always be on that low E string or low A string, generally in terms of playing power chords. And the fifth is the fifth note of the scale. And in a major scale, you have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, which goes do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, like that. And count it along and you go do, re, mi, fa, sol. And so is the fifth note, that's your fifth. That's what the chord is. So it's your root note, the first note, and the fifth note played together. That'll give you your power chord. So it makes it really easy to navigate chords really quickly, which obviously with higher tempo tracks and in genres like metal especially, you need to make chord changes a lot more quickly than you would do in pop and other genres that are going to be slower. But that's what Link Wray started to do, really brought along that shape, and everyone else started to copy it. But he certainly inspired lots of future generations of players as well. The fact that this is 1975, so at this point, having broken onto the scene in 1959, is still 25 years later is what we're actually seeing now. But you know, you've got Iggy Pop, Neil Young, Jimmy Page, Pete Townsend as well from The Who. He said that he wouldn't have picked up a guitar if it wasn't for Link Wray. So that just goes to show the importance of Link Wray's playing and his music on those future generations of players. And another thing, he really seems to me to have been an absolute musician in terms of he wasn't interested in the whole corporate side of the music industry. He actually went away and went to his brother's house, and I think he like converted an outbuilding and actually started to record on his own just on a 3-track. Great example here of just playing and making something sound different, even if you haven't got loads of tools in your toolbox. Like for example here we've just got really standard pentatonic notes pretty much the whole way through, but he's applying that wide whammy bar vibrato to give it a really unique sound and add something to the track by putting that guitar solo section in and making it sound unique. So it's a really great use of what he's got and what he can put into his playing personally, not trying to copy anybody else. But thank you so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!